All right, let's talk about what's been happening in the world of digital art. In 2024, it feels like everything just exploded onto the Solana blockchain, creating this incredible wave of creativity. And we're going to figure out why.
I mean, that really is the big question, isn't it? You've got all these different blockchains to choose from. So, what's the deal with Solana? Why is everyone, artists, collectors, you name it, suddenly showing up there? Let's dive in and unpack this. And yeah, calling it a boom is no exaggeration. It's the real deal. Solana has really truly cemented itself as a major player, and it's basically changing the entire game for NFTs. Now, you should know this didn't just happen by chance. The whole platform's growth is being powered by this super passionate community of artists, developers, and collectors who've all kind of decided, yeah, this is the new spot for digital ownership. Okay, so what's Solana's secret sauce, right? What makes it stand out and what's become a really crowded space? Well, it all comes down to how it was built from the ground up.
So here it is, the main difference. On a lot of other blockchains, trying to mint or trade an NFT can feel like you're doing a slow, really expensive wire transfer. But on Solana, it's more like tapping your card to buy a coffee. It's instant, and the fee is so small you probably won't even notice it. And that's huge because it doesn't just make things cheaper, it opens up the floodgates for more experimental art from creators who maybe couldn't afford to launch anywhere else.
And all of this is possible because it's a high-performance blockchain. That's the engine under the hood. There's this unique thing called proof of history that lets it just rip through transactions at an insane speed. And look, that's not just some technical mumbo-jumbo. It's the very thing that gives creators freedom, because it means the network doesn't get all slow and expensive the second it gets popular.
So all that technical freedom is great, but what does it actually look like? What kind of stuff are people making? Let's take a quick tour of some of the coolest, most interesting collections that have really taken off in this environment.
But before we jump in, you gotta know, it's not just about pretty pictures. The collections that really pop, they've got this mix of things going on. Yeah, strong market performance helps, but it's also about having a super active community and, that special something, that unique story that makes you feel like you just have to be a part of it.
First step, you have to start with the trailblazers. Seriously, you can't even have a conversation about Solana NFTs without bringing up Degenerate Ape Academy. These guys are one of the original blue-chip projects that really put Solana on the map.
I mean, that quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's got this rebellious vibe, it's all about the community, and it just refuses to take itself too seriously. The whole point is to create this fun, chaotic clubhouse for all the fellow apes out there. And that energy is a huge, huge reason for its success. Okay, now let's do a complete 180. We're going to look at the Homeowners Association by Parkle. This project is the perfect proof of just how wild the range of ideas on Solana can be, bringing things from the digital world right back into the real one. See what I mean? We just went from degenerate apes to suburban homes. This Parkle project is tapping into this real-world idea and building a digital neighborhood. It's such a cool example of how creators are using this tech to think about community and ownership in totally new ways. And let's pivot right back to the wild side with the goofy gorilla gang. This one just goes to show that sometimes you don't need a complicated plan. Sometimes the simplest, most direct ideas are the ones that people absolutely love. You just gotta love the honesty, right? There's no fancy manifesto here. It's just pure, simple fun. So why did it work? Because that kind of straightforward, funny vibe obviously struck a chord with a ton of people. All right, our last stop on this tour shows off another really important piece of the puzzle: utility. With the famous Fox Federation, it's not just about owning a piece of art. It's about what that art lets you do. So if you hold one of these Fox NFTs, it's like you've got a key to a whole world. You can earn tokens, you can go on missions. It's an interactive game. This is the perfect showcase for how NFTs are evolving from just static images into these dynamic, living digital things.
Okay, so we've seen everything from apes and gorillas to virtual homes and adventurous foxes. The obvious question now is, where is all this headed? What's next?
Well, the future looks pretty darn exciting. The big trends are pointing towards things like deeper metaverse projects, the whole world of digital fashion, and people constantly rethinking what it even means to own something digitally. And because Solana is so cheap and fast, it's basically the perfect lab for all these futuristic ideas to get tested out. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. We've seen how this technology is just unlocking brand new ways for people to express themselves.
As our digital and physical lives get more and more blended, the stuff being created on platforms like Solana, well, we're just seeing the beginning of it. What comes next is anybody's guess, but you can bet it's going to be fascinating to watch. Thanks for joining me.